Ni hao. Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Ego Dram. Been a while. What the dilly, what's going on, what it is. So, clock app's going bye-bye, huh? Tick-tock. Bummer, I know. It's been a long time since I've had so much fun on a social media platform, and you're talking to somebody who's been chronically online since the early 2000s. I'm old enough to remember when LiveJournal made it big in the US. I'm also old enough to remember when Flash was run by Macromedia. At the time of recording this, it is Thursday, the 16th of January 2025. The app that we all know and love is set to disappear stateside entirely sometime on Sunday. Some are saying it might still be kind of accessible for a few weeks, maybe up to a month. Some are saying that US offices in Texas will shut down entirely and you won't be able to use it at all, even with a VPN. I don't know for sure. I do not have the technical expertise to be confident making a claim whether or not the app will work at all, or the website will work at all. I don't know. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to give my general impressions of a radically popular application based out of China called Rednote, but in Mandarin, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing, Xiaohongshu. Xiaohongshu isn't China's TikTok. It's more like China's Instagram, with a few elements of Google mixed in between. It's not just a social media networking site or platform, though. It's part fashion blog, it's part travel blog, it's part fashion show. They even have their own version of Grumpy Cat. But unlike other social media platforms that you and I might be used to and what we might have grown up with, it is a completely different set of rules over there. Literally a completely different set of rules over there. When I was growing up, it was pretty well drilled into my head that when you are a guest in someone else's house, when you are a guest in someone else's space, you are beholden to their rules and expectations, and that if you break those rules or expectations, they are within their right to show you the door. So if you're hearing someone say, oh, I signed up for Rednote and I got banned an hour later. Oh, I signed up for Rednote and I got banned after this one post of... Really? See, American social media platforms are ones commonly used in the West that are familiar with ideas like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, free expression, things like that. We kind of sort of have come to take these things for granted here. And I think that a lot of Americans and some other Westerners rushing over Rednote right now forget that that's not really a thing there. Yes, they have their own platforms, they have their own fashion, they have their own music, they have their own art, and they do express themselves. It just doesn't manifest in exactly the same way as what you and I would be accustomed to here in the United States. Generally speaking, I have a very good impression of Rednote in the 2 or 3 days that I've been using it. The people of China have been very courteous and very friendly and eager to share their experiences, their questions, their curiosities, and concerns with Western users. But of course, there's going to be idiots that have already ruined it. Hey, timeout, pause, editing step here. I might have neglected to mention something kind of important regarding an impression that a lot of foreigners got off of Rednote right out the gate, is that a lot of people that when they were first joining up with Rednote, they were seeing posts and seeing comments by accounts saying foreigners get out, fuck off, round eye, that kind of thing. Thing is that any of these kinds of posts that you might come across or you might see, if you go to their profile, you will be able to see where their IP is located. And more often than not, they are not located from within China. An alarming number of such accounts are located either in the United States or in Europe. They are not real Chinese people telling us to fuck off, to go away, this is our turf, get out. Most of the Chinese people that I have interacted with and followed there seem happy to have us there, as long as we are respectful of their space and respectful of their rules. They seem happy to have us. The other thing is that apparently there is a post or a rumor going around that Developers at Rednote are looking to establish like a wall between IP addresses so that foreigners can't interact with Chinese. And in this case, we are the foreigners. We are on their turf. Now, while I did come across a copy of a post in Mandarin that alleges that this is something they're thinking of doing, at the time of recording this video, I haven't been able to confirm that that's something that they actually want to do. However, I did find a statement made by Chinese state media that does not seem to support that hypothesis at all. Have a listen.
关于你提到的其他的社交媒体，我们认为使用何种社交媒体是个人的选择。作为原则，中方一向支持和鼓励与各国加强人文交流，促进民心相通。
In China, nudity and or anything that kind of teeters on the edge of that is not tolerated. So if you're posting videos of yourself shaking your jiggly bits and then you get banned a few minutes later, that's your fault. That's not subject to interpretation. They don't play that game. I have nothing against that realm of work. I have nothing against that realm of adult entertainment. I'm just saying the way they view that over there, or they don't want to view it. They don't. I don't know if it's illegal or what, but they just don't like that. Another thing that they really don't seem to like on Rednote is anything involving violence, fight scenes, world star type videos. They don't allow that on there either. And it's honestly, I think the general idea is they see it as distasteful and tacky, and there are also kids on the platform, and the parents don't want them seeing it. So yeah, that's, if you're wrestling with your buddies and it's not a professional match like UFC or a boxing ring or a choreographed scene for a movie or video game, they don't want to see it. It'll get taken down. It's gone. Also, because the app is based in and operated out of mainland China, there are certain topics, there are certain items of discussion that we kind of take for granted here in America or other Western countries. I've heard it said on the app that LGBT subjects or depictions are not allowed on the app. But the thing is, they're there. They're just different. Like, you're probably not going to see pictures and videos of people marching in pride parades to loud music and sparkling spandex and feather boas or anything like that. You will probably see pictures and short videos of two women standing together holding hands and nuzzling up on each other's shoulders. You will probably see simple and tasteful little acts of affection. You're probably not going to see what you would expect to see at a pride parade here in the US or maybe Europe. I am reluctant to post content of that nature onto that platform because I'm so new to it. I am just sharing with you what I'm seeing, like based on my impressions of what I've seen thus far. Another thing that the rules don't allow for people to talk about either on the platform, and I think China in general, is geopolitics concerning specific places, either the areas surrounding China or a particular situation in the Middle East. I shouldn't have to say any of them out loud or spell them out to any reasonable grown adult. But don't do that. If your posts don't get taken down immediately, they probably will be eventually. The impression that I get from Chinese people on their own social media platforms is that their social media, at least Rednote, is not intended to be a place of discourse and discussion about this, that, and everything else going on in the world, or this, that, and everything else going on in their town. So gossip, TikTok beef, YouTube beef, commentary channels aren't really a thing on that platform, at least not that I've seen so far. There's plenty of that here on YouTube. Is there a Chinese YouTube? You might also get hit up a couple of times by young people in China asking you for help with their English homework. Apparently in China, English language classes are mandatory. So why the gold rush to the Red app? The main argument that the United States federal government is trying to make to justify banning TikTok or access to the app in the United States is the dodgy at best allegation that it's a Chinese spyware app, even though the company, ByteDance, is operated out of Singapore. You heard me, Mr. Cotton. Singapore is not China. Is not. The United States federal government seems to believe, or wants the American public to believe, that it's a foreign spying application that's siphoning our personal data to the Chinese government, and that's why it's bad. It's a national security threat. It's turning young people against their government. So that's the justification that they use to try to force ByteDance to sell the app to an American company or be banned in the United States. Now, at present, I do not know whether or not a piece of legislation that might kick the can further down the road another 270 days. I don't know the status of that particular piece of legislation at this moment. Who knows? Things might change between now and Sunday. Oh, so they're telling us that they're banning the app because it's siphoning data to the Chinese government, even though our own government does the same thing to us all the time. Now, I'm not buying it either. So someone, I don't know who, but someone got the brilliant idea of calling their bluff. If this is really about the safety of the American people's data, if the Chinese government really wants our stuff so badly through social media, did they really have to use TikTok to get it when there was another platform that was already accessible in the United States? It has been for quite a while. And that platform is known as Rednote, aka Xiaohongshu. I'm working on my Mandarin. So within a period of 48 hours, guess what became the #1 app downloaded in the United States? I recall a myriad of people complaining about an issue with phone verification, with the app, with the platform, with even the website, kind of having to copy-paste into Google Translate and then, copy-paste things back to and from in English, Mandarin, simplified Chinese. In all of my years of being chronically online, and I remember when the internet started becoming a thing in the early to mid-1990s, I have never, in my 43 years of being alive, seen such a massive online bluff-call. Ever. Okay, if this is really about the data security of millions and millions and millions of Americans, and then within a 48-hour period, approximately 1 million Americans all go giving their data away voluntarily to an app that is actually owned and operated in the Chinese government, I could only imagine the sweet, sweet aroma of Zuckerberg's tears. Oh, Elon, Yomasapos. So now more Americans have joined the app and are interacting with it and are interacting with the people of China. And I'm not saying it's a perfect paradise. I don't believe in perfect paradises, okay? No one is perfect. No place is perfect. Nothing is perfect. But it seems to me that a lot of things that the average person has been told about what goes on over there or what life is like over there might not have been true. And they're probably shocked as shit to learn that some of the things that they're being told about us and how we live is not necessarily true either. So if you're going to go on the app, there are things that you need to keep in mind. It is not your house. It is not your rules. It's theirs. Be respectful of the people, be respectful of the culture, and follow the laws. Now, if you do something like talk about something or post a meme that might otherwise get you in trouble in mainland China, and you're in the United States or the UK or somewhere else, they're not going to come get you. But just keep in mind that it might be a problem for you later on if you ever do decide to get a passport and go visit China, like on a business trip or for vacation, or if you make a friend there and you want to go say hi to them. Keep in mind certain topics, they might pull you aside at the airport. Personally, having been on the app for the last 2 or 3 days now, I am seeing so many fashion posts and posts of traditional dancing and makeup tutorials, and apparently crochet is wildly popular over there. It will be an eye-opening experience if you are willing to also open your heart and mind to some things that you wouldn't normally expect to see. They are so unserious on that platform, well, within certain parameters, of course. And the people there have been nothing but jovial and good-hearted and lighthearted and very respectful. And if you return that respect in kind, you will probably have a delightful time on Rednote as well. I'm going to go ahead and tag some of my favorite creators on that platform since I've been there in the description box below. If you choose to start a Rednote account, I hope you do. It seems to have a lot of value there, and I'm learning a lot too, and I don't just mean the occasional little term in Mandarin. I hope you learned something today. Be good. Be good to each other. Be nice. Nobody hates bubbles.